There you go. Can you guys hear my voice now? I see no mic sound. I see you hear the guitar. You guys hear my vocals okay now? Sweet, sweet. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Carl. Cool. All right. We got a good crowd coming in here now. Everybody's probably hyped about the the new firmware update 3.50, the cab update. So I thought, I had some other stuff lined up to do for live streams over the next, few times that I went, but I mean, this new update's pretty exciting, so I figure nobody is going to be, interested in hearing much else with this new update out. So for those of you who have not already downloaded and installed the new software update, it's only coming through the mic. My guitar is only coming through the mic. Let's see, what about now? Let's mute the mic and turn the guitar up. Now the guitar is a lot louder than the mic. Well, I turned the guitar up, so that might be why. Trying to make sure you guys can hear everything. Okay, thanks. Somebody said it sounds great. Gonna have to watch later. Pesky full-time job. Yeah, man, full-time jobs, dude, I know. All right, what's your top 3 amp and cab? Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Balance sounds good now. Thanks, Steve. So let's just, get the technical jargon out of the way. We're calling this the cab update. So I'll just give you the formal spiel, and then we'll talk about it. The Helix 3.50 firmware update for Helix and HX hardware devices. And the 3.50 software update for Helix Native, for those of you who have the plugin. This introduces an entirely new IR-based speaker cabinet engine. It includes 20 guitar cabs and 4 bass cabs so far, with a choice of 12 microphones. You can change their angle, position, and distance in relation to the cabs. You can even drag the mics around in 3D space for easier and more exact placement. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about if you don't already know. Despite their increased power, the new cab models only utilize roughly 1/3 to 1/5 of the DSP of previous cabs from versions 3.0 3.50 and earlier due to an improved Helix core, freeing up additional DSP for other purposes, like some of those polyphonic effects and crazy stuff that chew up a lot of, memory. There are also 5 new amp models, 7 new effects, and dual IR block and other improvements. So that's a lot of stuff. There's a whole list of new cabinets on here. I'm not going to read through all of these because it's just a lot, and I'm sure you guys can go read for yourself about these, and I'm sure a lot of you have already installed this update. So I'm sorry if this is boring for you or if you already know all this stuff, but you can chime in with questions. Hopefully my bro Nick Bell is out there somewhere, hopefully, and can help answer questions if you guys have any. But yeah, so I guess maybe the first thing I want to mention is just, I guess, how versatile. Of course, there are the everything is like new IR based cabinets built from the ground up. It's not like a modification of something old. This is like brand new stuff. And I will go ahead and mention that I had a few presets that I had created using some third-party IRs, and I went through and took out those third-party IRs and put these new speaker cabs in there because they're just so versatile. So I guess where we'll start, I'm gonna go over here and show you guys the Helix editor. Hopefully this is a good way. Considering an HX Stomp or a Fractal FM3. Thoughts, Christopher? Yeah, let's just stop real quick and address this question. Coming up on a work trip, considering an HX Stomp or a Fractal FM3. Thoughts? What do you think? I think the HX Stomp would be your best bet, Christopher. But stay tuned and check out why I think that. And I'll continue to keep talking about this stuff, and maybe I'll convince you. So yeah, a lot of people are kind of chiming in there with the HX Stomp. So you can see here's the editor. Now the new thing you'll notice is down here on the bottom right, you've got this 3D virtual cab or speaker and mic layout, and I can literally just drag this with my mouse and pull this microphone wherever. I can pull it back up to 12 feet all the way over here. So you'll notice you get hopefully y'all can see all that. When you're at the edge, it'll pop up here, it'll tell you at the edge. Now another interesting spot is on the cap edge of the speaker right here. The display will kind of notify you exactly when you're there. Not only that, you can choose between 0 degrees and 45 degrees. That may be kind of hard to see with this particular mic. Let's see here. What's a mic that makes it more obvious when I change stuff? There we go. Like this 421 dynamic mic. So you can see right now I'm at a 45 degree angle, and then I can just click on it, and now it's totally straight. And then from either angle I want, I can go as far back or as far to whatever side. But like I said, the easiest thing to do is just grab it with your mouth, and you can just pull it around wherever you want. Honestly, I'm still experimenting with mic placement. There's just options that I'm not used to having, so I've been doing a lot of experimentation. This particular preset that you're seeing right now, I used to have an Ownhammer cab on this, and I think I actually did a breakdown of this preset once. It's just a heavy shreddy preset, with a lot of gain and stuff. And I took it out and just used the 4x12 Uber V30, which is what the original third-party IR was that I was using on it. But this gives you more options than the third-party IRs, because I can just take the mic and move it around. Hopefully you guys see all that. I know it might be a little bit of latency just due to the internets and stuff. But super cool. Now, let's say we want to go in here and, and you'll also notice here, you still have choices from legacy stuff. So if you like the original, the way the original cabs worked, you can still choose those. Now let's go over here. Let's click on dual just to show you something. So now when you pick the dual option, you have the choice to use two. You can actually mix them and use two different cabinets. Like right now, you'll notice this little link is connected right here. I'm circling it with my mouse, but I don't know if that's showing up. But it's right here in the corner under your amp menu. If I click on it, it unlinks it, and then click on it again. Now it's linked. So what that means is when it's unlinked like this, I can put two different cabinets on there. So maybe I want this Bogner cab, and maybe I want to change the other cabinet to something different. Maybe this 4x12 Cali. So now I have that option, and I can put two completely different mics on it. So I can, if I want to put, like, say maybe SM57, can't go wrong with that. Put it right about here, SM57, and then with this guy, the other cabinet, maybe I want to use something else like a condenser mic, or a good old ribbon mic. Always love the 121 ribbon mic. There we go. And I can move it anywhere I want. I can pull it back a little bit. I know, like, some stuff, when I've done stuff in real studios, sometimes the engineer will put a dynamic mic up close to the speaker like that, and then take a ribbon mic and move it, somewhere a little bit distant from the speaker, just to pick up different frequencies and nuances. Oh, I see we got Chris Otwell in the house today. That's weird. That's weird. Good to see you, though. How are you liking the new update? Good to see you, Broseph. Also, I will mention Chris Otwell here. If you guys like good leather work and stuff, he's your guy. Guitar straps, belts, wallets. But yeah, so check him out on Instagram. Shouldn't be doing that on this live stream, but I did anyway. So cheers to you. So as you can see now, I've got a dynamic mic right up on the speaker. Now I've got a ribbon mic back here. Now, if I go back up here to the cabinet selection and I click this link, and now the link is connected, what that does is, let's see. Whoops, I've already kind of screwed that up. Let's go to a different speaker now. Let's go back to it. So now when I click on a cabinet, I have two of the same cabinet. So what I can do essentially is, it's like having one cabinet with two different mics on it, if that makes sense to you. And so just a little bit different way to dial in a sound. So now, after kind of trying to talk about that, hopefully I'm making some sense. I'm going to show you guys a preset that I created this week, and I actually posted the link to this at the top of the comments. So if you click on it, you can go download this. I'm pretty proud of this. I think this is a pretty cool preset that I made. I was actually kind of on a Master of Puppets kick this week, digging some old school metal, and I was reading up on just kind of what they did, what Fleming Rasmussen did in the studio for James Hetfield's rhythm guitars. And I tried to base this roughly on that. So let me kind of show you all what I did. I took two completely different amplifiers. One is a Mesa and one is a Marshall. And this is the Brit 2204 based on the Marshall JCM 800. And then I used the Cali rectifier, which I think James actually used like a Mark, what was it, a Mark II or something they said? I don't know. It was before the dual rectifiers were a thing. But, you know, I like the way this one sounds. This is chunky and super heavy. So I dialed them both in. I've got an EQ here at the very beginning, and you'll see the beautiful scoop there, which is, you know, kind of a trademark of the Metallica sound. So I've got, and this is something they did in the studio. The engineers, they ran an EQ through the amps to just kind of more fine tune the sound. So yeah, bear with me. Okay, then I split that off and we go into two completely different amps. Here's your Mesa and your Marshall. And I've got some overdrive pedals. One is a tube screamer, I think it's this one, and then this one is a Rat. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. That I was, you know, this is something that I could not do before, but with this update I can do. I've got, you'll notice the cabinets are linked for this, so it's essentially like I'm using one cabinet, but I've got a 57 dynamic right there in front of it. And then over here, I have a ribbon mic over in the distance a bit. And this was honestly what I read about this album, you know, to be true to Master of Puppets, is that he actually used just SM57s all over the studio, you know, close to the amps and then in different places in the studio. But, you know, when you have the choice to throw a ribbon mic on there, why not? Now on the Marshall, I had to put the speaker down here just because, you know, just the way I routed this to kind of maximize my DSP, it looks kind of strange. But now for these guys, I use dynamic mics on both mics are the SM57 dynamic mic for the Marshall. So again, one really close on a 45-degree angle, and then one over here kind of back off to the side, also on a 45-degree angle, but it's all the way out to the edge of the speaker, and it's about 12 feet out, or 12 inches, I'm sorry. So, and these are linked, so it's like I'm using two mics on one cab, but I have two totally independent amps that are running in stereo together, and they're both panned hard right and hard left. Okay, and then here at the very end of my signal, I've got this beautiful LA Studio comp. I've got one on each amp, and this, you know, is something I like to do. I know most of the time you'll put a compressor at the beginning of your chain, but when you're in the world of, you know, the Helix, you don't have to do that necessarily. This is like running a compressor from the board in the control room, you know. The reason, let's see, the reason there's 4 different paths is because I have these 2 different amps, and they're panned hard, and each one has a totally independent path, and one is totally to the left and one is totally to the right. Now, hopefully that is what you were asking. Now, here's what else I do. I talked about the compressor. Now, the reverb, then there's sound. I didn't actually put normal reverb. One of the new effects on the update is this dynamic ambience. And if you guys have not already experimented with this, it's really cool. And again, this goes back to what I was reading about the Master of Puppets album. You know, they were going for chunky, fat guitars and no reverb. You know, they wanted things to sound really tight. And, you know, you probably noticed that the heavier you get, the longer you play, you realize reverb and delay, those are just problematic most of the time. So we don't really have reverb per se, but what this dynamic ambience is more like room noise. It's kind of like having a mic, you know, way off in the corner somewhere in a big studio. And I have one on each cab, and they're both set differently. The one on the Mesa Boogie, I have set to, if you'll notice here where it says room size, 12 meters. And I just left it like that, so it's a bigger room. And then on this one, I have it down to the smaller setting at 8. And it's just, you know, it kind of like simulates having multiple mics in the room. Now, the secret ingredient to this, to making this, what I'm trying to do is make this sound like two guitars. So it sounds like when you're tracking rhythm guitars in a studio and you double everything, you know. And the reason you double everything is just because the slight imperfections, you know, human imperfections, is what creates that chorus and that big sound. You can't just double the same track and pan it, because they're exactly the same, and so they don't add that thick wall of sound. So I put a delay on one of my amps, but this delay is literally set to 30 milliseconds, and the feedback is only on 10, and the mix is all the way up. So what that does is the actual signal doesn't come in for 30 milliseconds. It doesn't delay. You don't get like a dramatic delay like you get when you're using, you know, delay for like an ambient effect. It's literally delaying the signal by 30 milliseconds. So what happens is that's just long enough to make it sound like two guitars, but not so long that it sounds sloppy or like it's not an audible delay just to the naked ear, if that makes sense. Now I'll play a little bit with this, and I hope you guys, you know, I don't know if it's going to translate very well over your computers, but it sounds really killer, you know, in your studio. And I'll talk about a couple of more little things I did after I give you a little playing example. But here's what it sounds like. Sorry, I don't know if you guys want to see my guitar or anything. I'm not really playing anything technically difficult or anything. So it sounds like there's two guitars playing, but they're perfectly in sync, even though they're, you know, 30 milliseconds off. That's, like I said, that's not long enough to really make you think, oh, there's two guitars and they're way out of sync with each other. It sounds like there's just two guitars and it's super fat. And if you can't tell by watching this stream, you know, go download this patch and check it out at home on your monitors at home, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now I added something else cool. Let's see. I don't think you can actually see it. It's a foot switch, but you'll get it. You'll have it once you download this. The delay is on a foot switch, and it just says Twin Simulator. And so if I turn that off, so maybe you can hear the difference there. You know, when that delay is not on, it sounds like basically just one really. It sounds like one guitar in stereo. But when that delay is added, it sounds like two different guitars being played. Now I also put a switch on here for these reverbs. So if you don't want that room sound, it's like 100% dry. You know, there's no reverb whatsoever. That room sound just, to me, makes it sound a little bigger, because this dynamic ambience reverb is just so cool. It really does make it sound like it's in a big room. So I gave you the option to turn that on and off. The drives have a switch of their own. Then I put a left side kill switch in there. So what that does is when you hit that button, it's going to totally disengage the left panned amp, and it's going to cut out. And so, you know, if you're controlling it with your foot, when you get to something, I don't know if I can do this right now because I don't have I have my Helix, you know, up high where I can't like hit it with my foot. But if I'm going along, so you get that kind of like kickoff when you hear a riff played by like one guitar player and then they both come in the second time. You can kind of simulate that. So I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool preset. So that's why I added the I put it on the custom tone page and added the link up in the comments. And this is just something I did to showcase all these cool features from the new update. So hopefully that's cool. Oh, can I mute my mic when I play? Too much of the signal is bleeding. Yeah, sure. Here, let me give you a little bit with a muted mic. Here you go. There, hopefully that was better. Thanks, Michael Pierce. Save your patch with the volume pedal all the way up. What was that question there? I'm seeing that there's sound. I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess somebody answered that already. Yeah, so Quentin, hopefully that was helpful. I don't know, man. I muted my mic, so you just got the direct sound. And I thought the direct sound was loud. It's pretty loud in the room. I hope you're getting enough signal because this is a heavy patch, and I think it sounds killer. So you guys have fun with it. Yeah, everything is in there. You shouldn't have to add anything unless you want to add something of your own, just, you know, some kind of different reverb or delay. But the reverb on this was just designed to give it some room sound, and the delay was added just to make it sound like two guitars. So there you go. So Pixelot says, late to the stream, the 3.50 update is amazing. Some of the presets don't use the new cab block. Is their legacy cab sound also affected by the new cab engine? Okay, so this is, I didn't do this myself, but you also, if you want to have all the presets affected, like the factory presets, I believe you have to do a complete factory reset, and then it will reset all the factory stuff with the new IR designs. I didn't do this either. You still have the option in there, but you know, I didn't want to. I guess I was just being lazy, and I didn't feel like dealing with backing up the presets that I made myself, because I don't really use the factory presets much. Although there are a couple that I like. I always like the dark and lush preset. Any of you guys that might use that, maybe you know what I'm talking about. But for the most part, I don't really use factory presets, so didn't really matter too much to me. Let's see here. I'm gonna read this. How come when I run a cab after a Cali amp, it sounds so bad? I never can get sounds like that out the box. It's always real dull and blown sounding. I'm not sure which, and that comes from Brett. I'm not sure which. I guess you're using the Cali rectifier. Have you ever played a real Cali rectifier? Man, they sound like to me they sound like a buzzsaw, just out of the box. They need a lot of TLC to sound good. But I don't know if you're interested, like the way I EQ'd this. I did the classic like 747 on the EQ. Here, let me go back to the editor here. So you'll notice down here in the bottom where my amp settings are. I've got my drive on 7, the bass 7, mid 4, treble 7. So it's that kind of scoop that they always recommend with Mesa Boogies. That's roughly kind of the classic setting for a scooped Mesa Boogie. Got the sag turned way down. But one reason may be the way you have it mic'd or something. You should always explore the different microphones, inside these things, because they're just so versatile. The different mic sounds, if something sounds too bright or too dark or anything, it could be just a matter of changing the mic. Again, here's where I have the mics on the Mesa Boogie here. This 57 is like right in the center, right up next to it, and then over here I have this ribbon mic. A ribbon mic's going to have a little more of a warm sound, so that may help you warm it up. 2 mics, and then of course I've got a Marshall going through here too. But it's also a matter of taste. Sometimes you just may not like the way something sounds, But maybe if you like this heavy sound, download this patch and just kind of take notes on how I set it, because it sounds really aggressive, but in a good way, I think. And you had said it always sounds real dull and blown sounding. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. And again, you're always at the mercy of whatever speakers you're coming out of. Could be your computer monitors or something. I don't know, man. It's just you never know. There's a lot of variables. You said you actually were running just an amp with no cab. Oh. Huh. Everyone says that. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that you like that amp with no cab, unless you're running it through, a power cab or some sort of guitar speaker. I wouldn't think that sounds too good, but to each his own. And if you're doing a clean sound, you can definitely get away with that sometimes. Just a completely clean guitar sound. Pixelot here said the graphical representation of the speaker and mic in the HX Edit cab block gives me hope that in the future we may see something similar in other blocks as well. Very cool. Thanks, Pixelot. Yes, it is very cool. You never know what is getting cooked up in the Line 6 laboratories. They're always working and trying to, they're always trying to improve on what they did last. And I can say that firsthand. You got some hard-working engineers, and they're always trying to get better and improve and move the bar forward. So, Jesse Gayhart says, "Where can I get that shirt?" Man, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody asked me where they could get this shirt. The funny thing is, it's kind of like the military. Like when I was hired by Line 6, I was issued like 8 of these, and it's like all I wear half the time. It's not that I'm wearing the same shirt every time you see me. I just have a lot of these shirts, and they used to be like my road shirts. You know, I would, whenever I was out traveling doing clinics and stuff, I would wear these shirts, and we don't do that anymore. I wish we would. You know, I think I'm not scared to travel, so y'all send me out. I ain't scared. But you know, I thought these shirts were available on the website. I could be wrong. People keep asking. You know, everything is a hot commodity these days because just materials and supplies are so rare. So I don't know. It may be hard to get this shirt now. I've had these, like 8 or 9 of these for 5 years, 6 years probably. So they stay looking pretty good because there's so many of them that they don't get worn and washed all the time. Oh, look, Doc Brown's in here. What do you got, Doc? Doc says line 6 shirts here, and I believe he's going to hit us with a link. Thanks, Doc. That was probably entirely too much time spent talking about this shirt, but I agree these shirts are the bomb. Jesse says he's also looking forward to see the next level after the Helix. Man, what could that be? Proton packs? Yeah, Michael, I hear you, man. I'm blessed with many of these shirts. I have some other ones too that just say Yamaha Guitar Group. They're not nearly as exciting as these though. This is the best shirt ever. I love it. It's just the Helix display, and it's always a great conversation piece. But anyway, let's see. Okay, I'm chewing up a lot of time. How many people we got in here still? 41. So we can keep tinkering if y'all want to, or if you got more questions. This is what I do, so you know I'm down to hang out for a bit longer just because we've got this new update. Here, let's check out a preset I was working on last night using one of the new amps, the Moon, and this is the Moon Jump, which is actually a IR of a Sun. I can't remember which model it is. I can tell you exactly though. Let's see here. It's the Don't you hate it when people do that? So this Moon Jump amp that I'm using is based on the normal and bright channels in the Sun Model T, and I'm using the 4x12 cab that goes with it. And I just thought it was a unique sounding amp, so I started building an IR I was going to share with everybody today as well, but I didn't really finish it. It didn't need much. It's not super elaborate. I just think it sounds good. Now, let me turn this overdrive off first. Here's just the amp. What's up, David Cho? Oh, sorry, I didn't turn my amp off or my mic off that time, so hopefully you're not hearing too much mic bleed, but I'll turn it off in a minute. Now, I did add one of the other new effects, the Pillars overdrive pedal or distortion pedal. This thing sounds really good, just different. I don't know, I like it. That's just a good, I don't know, nice doom sound. I dig it. I like it a lot. I didn't tweak this amp at all, or this pedal. I just threw the pedal on there. So, you know, maybe we want to play around with it some. Let's look at the amp settings. Let's turn the drive on the normal side up first. Hey, what's up there? What we got? Oops, sorry, David. Yeah, sounds pretty clear. Thanks, brother. And here we have my friend Brian Jeffries from Texarkana. Sounded great, my friend. Thanks, Brian. Good to hear from you. Glad you're in here. I hope you've checked out the new firmware update and hope you're having fun with it, man. Thanks for watching and hanging out today. Music is fun. Technology is fun. So, let's see. Yeah, I turned up the normal drive. What else do we want to do? The rest of this amp just sounds pretty good like it is. Obviously, I guess we could turn the sag down if we wanted to. Let's mess with it and you know, let's bring the sag way down. Oh yeah, and then maybe let's turn the bias way up. Let's see here. David says, how are you connecting Helix? So my Helix is going into my computer, you know, via USB. Now I've also I've got a microphone in here, and it's supposed to like do this ducking thing when I'm playing, but I don't think it's an exact science, so it probably sounds better if I just mute my microphone. I just keep forgetting to do it. But I've got the left and right XLRs going to my monitors because I'm using my Helix, you know, as an interface for this particular computer rig, which I have a couple in here. I don't know if you can tell, but back behind me there's another iMac, and there's a Helix rack in that one, but it's also running into another interface, and it's running into a stereo mic preamp and then into an interface over there. And I sometimes don't even know why I bought that mic preamp, because nowadays everything, if you can't do it with a Helix or a modeler, you can do it with a plug-in. But whatever, I got it. It sounds cool. It warms up everything, makes it sound a little fatter. But yeah, this one over here, the Helix is the centerpiece of the whole rig, and it's going into my monitors, and the computer is connected to Helix via USB, and so that's what's up. Now I've got a separate microphone that's going USB into my computer as well, and so, you know, I guess I have I've got so much stuff in here. I was running a mic from Helix over for doing voiceovers and stuff, but I disconnected it because I wasn't using it at the time. So, you know, here, let me mute this microphone and I'll play a little bit. So maybe that was a good clear sound. Today is the metal live stream. I don't do this much heavy stuff for my live streams always, although sometimes I do. But I feel like I usually do a little more colorful stuff. But you know, I don't know, man. I just these big heavy sounds that I'm getting with this new update just make me want to revisit all the sounds that I liked when I was younger. So yeah, let's turn up the gain on this overdrive pedal here a little bit too. And what do I have? A vintage swell. I don't know why I put that on there. I'm not even going to mess with that, but here. That's a pretty cool sound. I'm going to save that. If you guys like that preset, I could load it up, but it's pretty simple, so I'm not going to bother loading it up. But if y'all want me to, just leave a comment in the comment section. Here's an interesting question. How do you set the high cut in cab settings when you make high gain stuffs? Man, sometimes I don't do anything. Let's see. This one here, I definitely didn't do anything. I just left it. And I think this 906 dynamic mic is the factory mic. I don't think I changed anything on this. Let's see. So they do have some high cut and a little bit of low cut going. So if you're curious as to how it's set, there it is. Sometimes it does make a difference if you'll go ahead and make sure is my mic? Yeah. If you will shave a little bit off with the high cut and low cut, just a little bit, it can kind of warm up your sound a little bit because the Helix actually covers a wider frequency range than a guitar even is capable of creating or doing. So sometimes you can warm up things, make it sound a little more natural if you do. Here's a good answer to your comment or to your question from David Cho. I usually set the low cut to 80 hertz and high cut to 14K. Hey, you cannot go wrong with David Cho. So I would I would use that. I usually just do things by ear. I just fine tune things. To me, if it sounds good, it is good. So, and here you go. Too much. He says too much high cut will make your sound small. We don't want that. So there you go. Like I said, I don't have an exact method for doing that. I do everything by ear. I'm a field player, bro. But yeah, I would go with what David says. He knows what he's doing. He knows his stuff. So yeah, there's a cool preset. There's a couple more new amps on here. If anybody wants to hear anything, how are we doing on time? I've gone longer than normal, but we still got 30 people hanging out. So I mean, y'all wanna keep playing around with stuff? Let's go to an empty preset. Oh, I don't think I saved that. Yeah, I did. I saved it. Let's see. Let's check out another one of the new ones. Where's that vitriol? I'm sure I'm in the wrong place. I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, wait a minute. Am I in the... Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that what it's called? Wait a minute. I don't even know what I'm doing here, y'all. Yeah. Maybe I'm looking for the wrong words. Go down past Panama. Okay. Where is Panama? You can tell I use like 3 amps normally. There we go. Vitriol. Let's try, I don't know. Let's do vitriol lead. Now, you guys may be familiar with this from the Metallurgy plugin. So, yeah, there we go. Here, let me mute this a little bit and give you guys just a little bit of chunk. Yeah, that's nasty. Yeah, this amp is in the Metallurgy plugin as well, so you guys may be familiar with it from that. Let's go ahead and throw in something else. How about that good old Horizon Drive? And then, I can't play without some kind of reverb or delay or something. We'll put some simple delay in there. Ooh, that's hot. Always turn the noise gate on. There we go. Yeah. Love it. Thanks, David. Hey, okay, we got a couple here from David. Here's a good one. Could you give us a 101 on how the new cabs work and how each control works? Are you talking about the mics and stuff? Because I did do that already. I'm not sure if that's what you mean or if you mean like the literal amp controls. Sorry if I misunderstood that, but you can clarify. And also you asked, the speakers are really nice. What speaker monitors are you using? So now just then I had my room mic muted, so I don't think you were hearing the actual speaker monitors, but just, if you're curious, these particular speaker monitors that I'm going through right now are just some M-Audio BX5s that I've had for years. Over on the other side of the studio, I've got some nice, maybe you can see them over there, I've got some nice Yamaha HS7s. Those sound really good. They're bigger. But, I ended up with 2 sets of monitors, so I'm not going to not use monitors if I have them. So I just basically used them to create 2 completely independent rigs in this room. So I basically have a whole studio here and then a whole studio over there. And this one is kind of dedicated to this stuff and, when I'm doing stuff specifically for work. And then that one is, for when I'm trying to write my own music, which I haven't done much in a while. But if you guys want to hear my own music that was produced not very well by myself, go to Spotify or iTunes and check it out. Let's see. You feel it's too bright with default cab settings when you're listening through monitor speakers. Well, hey man, just, hit that high cut, shave some off with the high cut. Change the mic. If you're, using like a 57 dynamic mic, it's going to sound brighter. The darkest mic, from what I've learned, is that 4038 ribbon mic. I have another preset that I have not updated with anything new yet, but it's a solid state, super clean amp for a jazzier sound, and I use the 4038 because it sounds really dark. And then, the amp is real mid-rangey. I have all the mid-range turned up, and the highs and lows are turned down more. So, and I think I've done a breakdown of that one before, but I don't know, maybe I'll do another one someday. Let's see, the new cab section, how and what each parameter in the new cab works. By the way, do you add reverb to your amp sound? Gosh, Dave's got all these good questions. Ribbon 160 is probably the best mic, works about anything clean to metal. Agreed. And then you said, by the way, do you add reverb to your amp sims in Helix to give you more in the room sound? Yes. I usually do use reverb in here. Although I'm starting to get away from doing that when I'm recording. So, because a lot of times when I record stuff, I'm tracking for other people. So I'll send it to somebody and I don't want to put any reverb or delay. I learned that on something I did recently with a buddy of mine. I put this really ambient, what I thought was a beautiful guitar solo on there, and it was a little bit washed out by the time he put it into his project at home. So I'm kind of getting away from that for recording, unless it's your own thing that you're recording and you already know exactly how you want it to sound. But now if I'm playing live, for a gig, of course I'll put reverb, delay, whatever I feel like I need in there if it calls for it. The longer I play, which is a long time, the less of all that stuff I'm using for live or recording, just because it tends to get washed out in a real world situation. There are times when you do want, and I'll say delay a lot of times is a little less volatile than reverb, and you don't want too much of it, just enough to give you a little ambience and cover up those mistakes. So that's my answer to that. The PV Invective amp is awesome, the best one yet. I used it in a preset last night. Agreed, Michael. I don't know if I would say it's the best one yet, but it's pretty awesome. It is, especially for that kind of sound. It probably is about as good as it gets. So yeah, yeah. The new cabs. Justin says the new cabs sound good through his power cab. For sure, man. I haven't even played through the power cab yet with the new update. I've just been going through monitors. I played let's see. I played a gig last Saturday. And what day is this? I think I had already updated this, but I just used some stuff that I already had in there because I was scared to get in the weeds too much. You know, I hadn't spent much time with it yet. The new dynamic ambience reverb is superb for that room sound. Yes, I agree. It is. Hold on a second, guys. Did I just get a separate... oh, gosh. Okay. Whatever. So many questions coming in on all fronts. Yeah, the new dynamic ambience reverb is superb for that room sound. Yes, agreed. And that's what I put on that other preset that I... Please go through the new cabs and how you would use them. Okay. Let's do it, y'all. Let's just go through. I'm just going to stay on this blank preset here. Take everything out. So we've already touched on the vitriol. So, I mean, man, that would take a long time to go through all these new cabs. But, I mean, if you just want me to talk about them, I can. Unless you want, like, playing examples and everything. Let's hop over here to the editor. I mean, wow. Okay, so new guitar cabs, single and dual versions. Let's go up here. Now, you know, it takes me forever to fish through all of these. So, you know, let's just set up something real quick. Let's set up a good old classic deluxe reverb. Normal. So this is just a deluxe reverb amp. Kind of a good generic sound. Now, of course, this is the speaker cabinet that goes with it, but you know, if you want to use something different, we've got this 1x10 US Princess. This is a new one. And I don't know if these are going to translate very well. Ooh. Duke, you slept in. Got to play it loud though, Justin. Okay. So now I've got this 1x10. I mean, as far as how I would use these, man, I don't know. I would use this for, man, this is a good all-around speaker. I would use this for just about anything. Especially with this 67 condenser mic on it. You know, you throw a little reverb on it, maybe like some dynamic hall, which is awesome. Sorry, I had the mic on again. Thanks, Duke. Duke Skellington. I like that. Thanks, David. I will take it. I will take it. I will take that. And then here's Duke. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, man. So let's try a different cabinet. How about? That's the 1x10 Princess. Ooh, we know this was going to sound good too. Hold on, let's go back over here to the amp, and let's try this 1x12 Grammatico. Again, there's no changes. I'm just taking it straight out of the box with the mic that's on it. I do have that reverb on there though. bright for me. So, you know, hey, if it's too bright, we can either change our guitar or we can change our amp settings. Let's look at how this amp is set. So yeah, this is already not how I like to set things. I'll bring this treble down a little bit, and then I'm going to add some mid-range. Oh. So yeah, and we've got this 67 condenser mic on here. What do we got here? This maybe one. Could you also go over how snapshots work here? We got so many. I'm surprised we have this much engagement still, but I guess this update is pretty exciting. Could you also go over how snapshots work and what it actually does? That's one function I never used in Helix. Really? Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to do it really quick because, you know, we can make that into a whole live stream. But let's, man, I don't know. I can kind of tell you, you know, what you got to do first is put your Helix in snapshot mode. But you know, with a snapshot, it's a preset within a preset, and you can literally change. You can be in the same preset and have, like, you know, 2 reverbs, 2 overdrives, and alternate between the 2 of them, or even 1 reverb and just have the settings different. Or the amp, you can change the amp settings and have them change for different snapshots. I might need to save that for another live stream. That's just such an involved topic. Thanks, David, for the kind words, man. We need this update on Pod Go. Plus those Sun amps are killer for Doom. Agreed. They do sound good. I'm gonna stick with this theme of kind of going through the new stuff. That was David's first request. Let's see here. There was, well, I guess we already did that. There's a new 1x12 US Deluxe, and you know, with this 57 dynamic, I'm not gonna mess with that. Let's put this 4038 on here. This is that dark sounding mic. That's just like right out of the box. Oops. Sorry, guys. I think I'm gonna have to wrap this live stream up. Hear how dark that is, though? Let me mute this mic. I know that didn't cut through very well, probably. And maybe we'll move it. I know that amp is kind of quiet. Here, I'll bring this drive up a little bit. But you can see how dark that amp or that mic sounds. You know, that's why I was mentioning that, just as it's something that sounds really dark. Okay, mute the mic. I know that was super dark, but that's that's kind of that. Guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I've been going an hour, and I just had something else come through that I need to take care of. So I appreciate all of you for tuning in. This was some good engagement for such a long live stream. I hope everybody's excited about the new update. And yeah, go download that super heavy metal patch that I put at the top of the comments in the comment section, and have fun with it. And guys, follow me on Instagram and check out my music on Spotify and iTunes and all that good stuff. And until the next stream, stick a fork in me because I'm done. Adios.